13-Week Theater is supported by Patreon. Subscribers get exclusive early access, and by the financial support of viewers like you. Thank you. Was the editor of National Lampoon magazine in 1975 when Lorne Michaels hired her and her boyfriend Michael O'Donoghue as some of the first writers for Saturday Night Live, where Beats was responsible for creating some of the series' most beloved characters and recurring sketches. After leaving the show, along with the rest of the cast and writing staff in 1980, Beats began thinking about developing a sitcom. She drew upon her influences during her teen years in creating a show centered around a pair of best friends who see themselves as social outcasts at a modern American high school and their friends. Comparing the girls to the proverbial square peg unable to fit into a round hole, she called the show Square Pegs. Beats pitched the show to Norman Lear's Embassy Television, who convinced CBS to bankroll a pilot. For the show's lead, Beats headed to Broadway. Sarah Jessica Parker's big break came in 1979 when she became the third girl to play the title character in Annie. Remembering her performance, Beach approached Parker's agent, who expressed interest, and Parker was cast as Patty Green, the character based on Beats herself. For Patty's best friend Lauren, producers cast Amy Linker, who had been playing Gabe Kaplan's daughter on the recently canceled Lewis and Clark. Their friend and budding comedian Marshall Bleckman was portrayed by John Femia, best known as the annoying kid neighbor on McLean Stevenson's mega flop, Hello Larry. And their other friend, punk musician...
Punk? No way. I'm new wave. Totally different head. Totally.
New wave musician Johnny Slash was played by an unknown actor named Merritt Buttrick. Most notable among the popular kids that the losers longed to be like were preppy Muffy Tepperman, played by Jamie Gertz.
People! My, aren't we a bunch of chattering chipmunks this morning?
And Valley Girl Jennifer DiNuccio, played by television royalty Tracy Nelson, the daughter of Ricky Nelson and granddaughter of Ozzie and Harriet.
I don't know, you know. I mean, I know Vinny likes me, but, I don't know.
CBS picked up the show for the 1982 to 83 season. Before the show could air, however, two things would give it an unexpected boost.
Barf me out. Dad hears the food.
Frank Zappa's surprise hit single Valley Girl, featuring his daughter Moon Unit, helped to popularize the archetype so much that some people thought the show was trying to capitalize off the song with the character of Jennifer. And the second surprise? While Square Pegs was in pre-production, director Nicholas Meyer cast Merritt Buttrick as Captain Kirk's son, David Marcus, in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, which dominated theaters, especially among teen audiences, during the summer before the show debuted. By the time the first episode aired, Buttrick had been catapulted from an unknown to arguably the best-known member of the teen cast. Square Pegs debuted on September 27, 1982.
Next Monday on Premiere Week, get ready for wild times at Wee High. When these two square pegs try and fit in.
No way!
With the in crowd.
Is that a lunchbox?
Class clowns.
Totally different hair. Totally.
And First Crushes when Square Pegs premieres next Monday.
Listen, I've got this whole high school thing psyched out. It all breaks down into cliques. Cliques? Yeah, you know, cliques. Little in-groups of different kids. All we have to do is click with the right clique, and we can finally have a social life that's worthy of us.
No way. Not even with cleavage.
I told you, this year we're gonna be popular.
Yeah?
Yeah, even if it kills us.
While Beats based the characters and situations on her own childhood, the show is very much firmly set in the present day, hoping to document the attitudes, concerns, fashions, fads, and manners of 1982.
What do you think will happen to him?
I don't know. Maybe he'll be put in some sanitarium in the country and be forced to take covered baths. Oh, it's 5 to 6. I've got to go sit.
But we can't leave Marshall like this.
I know, but...
Marshall. Why hast thou forsaken the comedy?
Father Sarducci? I don't believe it.
Hey, why is it so dark in here? What is it, this, a library for Braille?
I can't believe it. The Grease is so crowded.
Reminds me a lot of the Go-Go's dressing room.
You've never been in the Go-Go's dressing room.
I know, it's too crowded.
Name the first emperor of the Ottoman Empire. Yes, Reed Kendall, Longfellow.
Frederick the Great of Prussia?
Is wrong. Can you take it, Wee Wee? Now? Okay, next question.
Wait. What's the right answer?
No one got it, so who cares? Next.
Now, it says here in the lesson plan that this week we're supposed to study marriage, from Henry VIII to Christina Ferrar.
Ms. Loomis teaching marriage, the last act of a desperate woman.
Lord, those who can't have, teach.
Some critics even praised the character of Johnny Slash, calling him the first gay teenage character on television, even though the character was never mentioned as such on the show. And later critics tend to credit those assumptions to Merritt Buttrick's portrayal being influenced by his own homosexuality.
The Hindus have a much more interesting rite of passage for their young women. They throw them off a cliff. A small cliff. It's magnificent.
No.
Do you get into the city much?
I go to the city a lot. It's a totally different head.
Totally.
The show also went out of its way to include contemporary music, with a number of acts appearing on the show.
I know what boys like. I know what guys want. I know what boys like. I got what boys like. Square, square, hey! One size does not fit all.
Everybody, it's a good thing. Everybody wants a good thing. You're wicked little girl, pretty baby, but love when you treat me mean. You're wicked little girl, pretty baby, but love when you treat me mean. You're wicked little girl, pretty baby, treat me back wrong, y'all think.
Square Pegs clicked immediately with teens and critics, building an audience that, while not huge, was loyal. Square Pegs ended the season ranked number 58 in the Nielsen's, higher than sitcom juggernauts like Mama's Family, Gimme a Break, and Cheers. Yet, the show was canceled right after episode 20 aired on March 7th, 1983. So, what happened? Most of the work on Square Pegs was not done on a soundstage, but in a production facility built out of the abandoned Excelsior High School in Norwalk, California, 20 miles away from CBS Television City and Embassy's offices. As a result, executives weren't able to closely observe what was going on during the actual production, and Beats' inexperience as a showrunner tended to let some things slip by. This led to reports of sex and drugs running rampant among the teen cast, which Beats confirmed as fact decades later. When the rumors reached the ears of Embassy Television's president Michael Grade, he ordered an investigation, and once it reported back to him that the rumors were true, he ordered production shut down, leading to one of the few times that a production company, not a network, canceled a show during its first season. Even though Square Pegs only lasted 20 episodes, it cast a long shadow. By immersing itself in 1982's teen culture, the show has gone on to define its era and how the generations that followed perceived the 1980s. A direct line can also be drawn from Beats' portrayal of 80s teens to the films of John Hughes that would arrive in its wake, and teen sitcoms that would follow in the late 80s and 90s. Reruns on cable starting as early as 1986 helped attract whole new audiences, as did the eventual home video releases. In the end, Square Pegs had more of an influence on film, television, and culture than most other shows of its time, including some that ran for decades. Perhaps the fact that the show was so short-lived was one of the factors that, ironically, has led to it being so long-lasting.
Square peg, square peg, square